welcome to the first video of the Versatile Jane. I will be known as Jane of versatileness, different subjects, different topics. This channel will basically be about a lot of different things, but for now we're going to focus on business studies, IGCSE 0450, and we're going to start off with Chapter 1, Business Activity. If you guys are starting this off for the first time, please take notes, and if you are just updating your old information, please go and get your old notes and update them, please. If you are studying this for the very first time because you haven't got your textbook at the moment, you're welcome to make notes. I would suggest using the Cornell note-taking method. You need to consider a method of taking notes, so that's my suggestion. Play this video when you're taking these notes in real time. If I'm talking too fast, yes, then definitely slow me down. If I'm talking too slow, well, speed me up. But as long as you're taking notes, that's more important. Please also note that you must still use your textbook for definitions and for your answers and stuff like that. I am just explaining things a little bit more in detail for you in case you've missed a lesson or you don't understand what's happening, or you just need extra information about the topic. Okay. If you are hearing weird sounds or you notice I start shrinking a little bit more, my chair does for some reason shrink a bit. Let me actually lift it up a bit first. There we go. So now we have less to shrink at the moment. Alrighty, so let's begin. So what is the difference between a need and a want? So needs are generally something you need to live. Otherwise you go, which is not exactly desirable. Okay, so what do you need to live? Well, definitely water, a house, food, generally not pizza, but food, and then clothing or things to keep you warm. Okay, there are other things, of course, like electricity that's also considered as a need. The one thing that is not considered as a need is internet. Yes, I have the Wi-Fi symbol there, but the internet and Wi-Fi are two different things. Either way, remember that. Okay, it's a want. The internet or Wi-Fi are wants. Wants are services or goods that are not as essential for you to live. Okay, so playing computer games or having the latest PS5 for this time frame, was it to you? It's not important. Having the most fanciest cake, yeah, you could say you need it for your birthday, but no, you don't actually need it to live. And then you don't really have to go on holiday. Yes, you need to take time to rest, but it does not mean you have to go on a cruise ship or an island getaway. Most of these needs and wants create what is called the economic problem. This means that there are an unlimited amount of wants by us human beings, but there is not a lot of resources for us to make it all happen. So hence why we've got an economy going. So think of diamonds. Originally diamonds are very rare and obviously very expensive, but now what's happening is because now we can make these diamonds, we can technically get them for cheaper, which is great. Gold is still considered a rare or important mineral, which can be used obviously in this example I have here as a watch or in CPUs. Okay. This is linked to the factors of production, which are, and you have to remember these four, which is land, labor, capital, and enterprise, or also known as entrepreneurship. You can remember these using LLEC or ELEC, ELEC. Okay, you need to try and remember these four. What do these four things mean though? Well, we need land in order to get our resources from, or to be able to keep our property available for us. Okay. Labor, we need humans or people to be able to do the work for us. Okay. Then we need capital to start the business at the beginning, whether it be beginning of the year or beginning of the new financial year. That's another story. Then we need an entrepreneur to create a business or an enterprise. All right. So let's have a look at an example. You're going to see a lot of these examples are from South Africa because I live in South Africa. So we in South Africa have Eskom, who's our main supplier of electricity. Not a good supplier, but it's our only main supplier right now. They need land to keep stockpiles of coal, yes, unfortunately we still use coal, that is needed to produce electricity, as well as land across the country for power stations that provide electricity to nearby areas, cities, towns, wherever. Okay, so that is where land is being used for. Then we've got labor. It can be skilled or unskilled labor, where employees do the work of helping produce the electricity. So you need people to drive the coal from point A to point B. You need someone to double check that the quality of the coal is still good. Whether you can consider something skilled or unskilled is out of this bracket of our studies. Okay, then you need capital. We need money to be able to maintain the current power stations, and we build more power stations for the future. Okay, the government in this case is providing the capital, but in South Africa we have a bit of a drama in the fact that we don't get that balance with money or profit or whatever is needed, and our electricity seems to be going up and up and up because people are getting more alternative methods like solar panels, solar geysers and stuff like that to be able to not be under load shedding, which is what we go through. Other countries know load shedding as rolling blackouts. Enterprise or entrepreneurship. So now in this case, we don't have a business person or entrepreneur who started Eskom. The government has CEOs that run this company, but they still run by goals and ideas and or objectives. Let's use that word because that's going to be a word that's going to come up quite a bit in business studies. That the CEOs have to make sure that they are getting to. Another example, we're talking more simple in this case, is a person who's selling crafts. Okay, lad, they're probably just going to use their own house because you don't need. The result of economic problem is scarcity. So going back a little bit, remember all resources aren't constantly available. Okay, so gold is not always available. Fish is not always available. Fruit and vegetables, depending on the seasons, they're not always available all the year round. So in short, this means that there isn't enough of a product or a service to share with everyone that a business can provide. This also, though, creates what's called opportunity cost. Opportunity cost is the next best option that's been given up by picking one item over another. So whatever you choose now, the other option becomes an opportunity cost. So this is when competition or a personal want or need comes into place. So in this example I have here, I've got Woolies, which is a 2-liter ice cream, which is 140 Rand for 2 liters, remember that. And then there's another one called Ola, also vanilla flavored, 1.8 liter, which is only for 76 Rand. Depending on your situation, yes, this is a want, but what are you serving? Do you have a lot of money, or do you crave the natural flavor or the flavor of the Woolies ice cream, or is it for a party and you just want to have it for the day? Okay, so depending on the choice, if you choose the Ola because you are having a party and you just want this to be served with your malva pudding, then this is a perfect idea. And that means the Woolies 2-liter ice cream becomes the opportunity cost. Okay. Otherwise, if you chose the Woolies option because you are a small family and you want to be able to eat this during the summer months, this might be a good idea because it's going to last longer because it's 2 liters. Yes, 200 mils is slightly negotiable, but you have a small family. So you can have the Woolies one, which means the Ola option becomes the opportunity cost. Another suggestion or an example in this case is you are on holiday and you want to buy a souvenir for yourself from a craft shop. After lots of deliberation, you have now decided these are your 3 top choices: a hat, a hand-painted African belt, or some South African socks. Okay, so in this case, whatever you choose, you've only got one choice in this case. So if you chose the hat, the other 2 items become the opportunity costs. If you chose the socks, then the hat and the belt become the opportunity cost. Hopefully this is making all sense to you. Now, once a business has a product or service that they want to sell, they then need to be able to make lots of it very, very quickly. So this is known as specialization. The official definition is what happens when a person or business concentrates on what they are best at. So if we're focusing on that crafter earlier, they might be crafting scrunchies. Okay, so that is their specialization. But in a business term, and you might not know this, in manufacturing, sometimes there are factories that only do certain parts that they specialize. So an example here is car seats. They are specializing in making, let's say, car seats for BMW, Mercedes, Ford. Okay. When they have made certain car seats for certain vehicles of different years and stuff like that, they are going to take them and send them off to the main factory where they get assembled. So that is an idea of what specialization is for both a personal or small business and a big factory. When we usually have a company that specializes in something, like the car seats thing, they need to divide the production process into different tasks and shares those tasks to the workers. So this is called division of labor. This methodology has pros and cons. Everything mostly has pros and cons. Advantages in this case is staff have one task. Therefore, there's an increase in the product production. So this is the output we've been talking about. And are quickly made, basically being efficient. So if you are only given one thing to focus on, you can churn a lot of it, which is great. Time is then reduced because the staff aren't moving a lot. So if you think of a conveyor belt system, if you're focusing on one thing and you're passing the product to the next person, you notice you're not going to be having people move around. And if you're a big company, time is money. So preventing people from walking around a lot for unnecessary reasons helps with production. You will see this later in the chapters. It's also faster to train staff members 1 or 2 tasks, or just a few skills, versus training them all the skills. So now here comes the problems. Boredom. Now, yes, you might be skilled at that one thing, but if you are going to do it over and over and over and over and over and over and over again, you are going to get bored. So be aware of that if you ever make a business with a factory. What happens when you get bored? Well, people get overconfident or tired, which can result in injuries. If a staff member also becomes sick, who's going to replace them? Because that's going to halt production in the end. Moving on. Now we need to consider added value. This is the difference between the selling price and its cost, which costs usually are materials and components that make up the product that you have or the service that you're providing. It is important to add value to products, otherwise other costs may not be paid. There won't be any profit made from it. What does this look like? Well, let's think of a gym trainer. A gym trainer offers clients free access to a nutrition guide. So they're not only giving you exercise every single day, they are also providing you good ideas for making food. Then let's think of another example. IT guys fixes your PC, but because maybe he's finished very quickly, he's going to offer also to clean it, maybe physically, both inside and outside, and also maybe give an internal service where they are making sure there's no viruses or malware hiding, maybe even speed your PC up. And they're not doing it to make extra money in this case, they're giving good value to you. Other examples can be convenience, customer service, extra features, brand names, brand loyalty, producing it in front of you so you're getting a really, really unique product and a show at the same time. Think of those candy shops on YouTube where people are making candy in front of you. Or they might have a unique selling point, like IKEA sells good quality products at lower prices because you have to go and make it and build it. But now, you need to sometimes increase added value. So how does one do that? Well, either you're going to increase the selling price, but you keep the materials the same. When we're talking about materials, we're talking about whatever makes this component up. This can show the quality in the product. Okay, so yes, the price has gone up, or you are keeping it at a higher rate because you want people to think this is a good quality product. So this is where people always think about, if you think of Woolworths, oh, those are good quality products. Apple, Nike, Adidas, those are all good quality products. If you think of Pep, which is an example for South African, it's a slightly cheaper but yet more affordable clothing brand. The problem with this is that you are creating a brand image of quality, which means you have to make sure your material is up to spec. So now what happens when your material costs start to increase? What sometimes people do or companies do is what's called shrinkflation. A 100-gram bar of Cadbury's has changed to 80 grams. If you guys didn't know, in order to keep the price of this chocolate or the item the same, what they'll do is they'll reduce the grammage or volume of the product. If you think of that ice cream thing I had, most ice cream containers are usually 2 liters. The way that companies have been combating this problem is that they are going to be reducing the quantity of the product but keeping the price the same. Another way that they can keep or increase added value is to reduce cost of materials, keep the selling price the same. So you're keeping the selling price the same, but we are going to cheapen up the materials that we're using to make up that thing. So using cheaper materials to make a hair scrunchie, let's say you're using silk stuff. Now you're going to go to like more faker type faux silk. Clients will notice, which means this could result in your customers noticing the reducing of quality and they might go to someone else. So be careful. Take note when you're in your shops. If there is a certain type of product you like to eat and next thing you see new improved formula or recipe or whatever it says, better ingredients, healthier ingredients, go and compare those ingredients to what your original box used to have. It'll be quite interesting to see. That is also a way people or companies have been trying to reduce cost of materials. So that is it for today. I am going to make a quiz for you guys to focus on. You guys need to do the quiz. Well, actually, you don't need to do it. If you want to do it, you are welcome to. I highly suggest it. You can do it either by yourself or with a bunch of friends. Have an awesome day and keep well, guys.